here we go. Okay, so looking back to yesterday, all right, if I had let's write the title first. Okay, multiplying. By the way, this is a new section in your notes. So put a line underneath yesterday's notes and then start a new one. Okay, multiplying algebraic expressions with exponents. Okay, so yesterday, if we had something like this, 5 to the 5th, let's say, times 5 to the negative 8th. Okay, somebody walk me through how I would simplify this expression. What would I do here? If I am multiplying, first of all, what's the first thing I look for with these expressions? Levi? Well, before that, in order to multiply these like this, what do they have to have? The bases have to be the same. Do I have the same basis here? Yes, I'm good to go, right? Okay, so if I look at these, first of all, I know my base is going to remain 5. What do I do with those exponents when I multiply? And it's pretty simple. What do I do? Add them, right? So this is 5 plus negative 8. What's 5 plus negative 8? So this would be 5 to the negative third. What's the problem with this? I can't leave this. Why? Because I have a negative exponent. I have to have a positive exponent, right? So how do I get rid of that negative exponent? Put it under a 1, right? Okay, so 1 over 5 to the third. Now, I don't have to evaluate, so that's a simplified expression, right? Okay, good. So we're good on that, correct? Okay, so what's different today, yes, we're going to throw some variables in there, okay? We're also going to have some that have the same base. Okay, let's look at what, before we go with variables, okay? Let's say I have something like this, 3 to the 5th, okay, times 3 to the 2nd. This is just like what we did yesterday, right? Now tell me this, do you think this means the same thing? Okay, if I was to put words into this, okay, this means 3 to the 5th times 3 to the 2nd. And in this case, this means 5 plus 2 would be what? That's exactly right. That's easy, right? Okay, what this means is something different, okay? Anytime I have this thing outside, okay, what that means is this entire expression inside of here, 3 to the 5th times what?
Times 2.
Not times 2. Okay, guys, what does this mean? When you had this 3 to the 2nd, what did that mean? 3 what? 3 times 3, right? So if I have 3 to the 5th to the 2nd power, what do you think that means, Macy?
Would you solve it on the inside and multiply it?
You could, if you were evaluating. But I'm just simplifying. That's a great guess, though. Not wrong, but I could.
You get the number on the inside.
Okay. What were you saying?
You get the number on the inside, and then you do what you do when you have just a number in parentheses, and then the...
Okay, kind of. All right, so what this means, guys, this means something different. This means 3 to the 5th, which is what's inside the parentheses, right? 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 Okay. Raised to the 2nd power. Bless you. In other words, what this means, if I was to write this out, that means 3 to the 5th times what? 3 to the 5th. It's not 3 to the 2nd. Because this means whatever's inside here, I'm going to square. Okay? So if I were to add these together, what would that give me? 3 to the what? 10th. Now, look at a relationship between these two that equals this. It's not addition. What is it?
Multiplication.
It's multiplication. Okay? And what that means, for example, if I had this, let's say 4 to the 8th, let's say to the 7th power. Okay? If I was to write all this out, that means I'm taking 4 to the 8th power and I'm going to raise it to the 7th power. That means I'm going to take 4 to the 8th power and multiply times itself how many times? 7 times. Okay? Does that make sense? So rather than write that out, 4 to the 8th times 4 to the 8th times 4 to the 8th, and so on. Rather than write that out, what do you think I can do with these two exponents? I can multiply them, and that's going to give me what? 4 to the 56th power. Okay? Do you understand how this is different than if I was multiplying 4 to the 8th times 4 to the 7th? That's not the same thing, is it? Okay? This would just be 4 to the what? 15th power. Does that make sense? Are you sure? Okay. Can I erase this? Okay. So try this one. Okay? And this isn't the crazy part. Okay? Don't worry. 8 to the 5th raised to the 3rd power. What is that going to be? And I also want you to do this one. 8 to the 5th times 8 to the 3rd. Okay, somebody tell me, what is 8 to the 5th raised to the 3rd power? What does that mean? Hannah? 8 to the 15th. Very good. What's this one? 8 to the Levi? 8 to the what? 8. That's a 5 and a 3. Same numbers. Oh my gosh. You people. Okay. Is that better? Nerds. Okay. 8 to the 5th times 8 to the 3rd would give me what? 8 to the... Say it again. Not 15th. What is it? 8. Why? This is not the same as this, is it? Okay. Are we good so far? Are you sure? Okay. Can I move on to the next part? It gets a little cray-cray. All right. So what's different if I have something... Okay. When I have a number connected to a variable, does anybody remember what that number in front of the variable is called? Rhymes with snow efficient. Coefficient. Good. That's a numerical value of a variable. So in other words, it's what we're multiplying the variable times, right? Right? Okay. So this means 3 times y. If I don't know what y is, can I do anything with this? No. Okay, so let's say this. Let's say I have this, 3y to the 3rd. Okay? What does that mean? That means 3 times y to the 3rd. I don't know what y is. Can I do anything? Okay. Now what this means, if I have, let's say, to the 3rd power, what do you think that means? If I was to write this out, what would this say? Say it louder.
3y to the 3rd power, 3y to the 3rd, 3y to the 3rd times.
You guys agree? I do. Okay, now what I'm going to have to do when I have something like this, what's a little bit different, okay, I have a coefficient in front of these, okay? So I'm going to take these coefficients and I'm going to multiply them. What is 3 times 3? 9. What's 9 times 3? This would be 27. Now, y to the 3rd times y to the 3rd times y to the 3rd. What do I do with those exponents? The base is the same, right? 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 Okay. So what do I do with those? With those exponents, if the base is the same?
Oh, you add them.
I add them. Okay. So what would this be? 27 what? To the what? 3 plus 3 plus 3 would give me what? Y to the 9th. Okay? I know it's a little tricky right now. Okay? But here's the thing. Okay, the reason this whole 3y isn't one thing, okay, this is all inside the parentheses. If I knew what y was, let's say y was 2, would I multiply 3 times 2 first? Think about it. Would I multiply 3 times 2 first? No. Why? What comes before multiplication? Exponents. What is that exponent connected to? The y. Okay, does that make sense? Okay, so I take my coefficients and I multiply them, and then I find the now let's do this an easier way. I can say 3 to the 3rd power. What's 3 to the 3rd power? 3 times 3 is 9 times 3 is what? 27. Multiply these exponents. What is that? Y to the 9th. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Okay, let's try another one. Let's say I got this. 7 x to the third raised to the second power. Okay? What's my coefficient there? 7. What's 7 to the second power? What's 7 squared? Don't say 14. 49. Does everybody agree? Okay. What's x to the third raised to the second power? What do I do with those exponents? You multiply them. What's that going to be? X to the what? X to the what? Say it louder. Second? Guys, what's 3 times 2? 6. X to the sixth power. Okay, is it starting to make a little more sense? Try this one. 2y to the third raised to the second power. What's that going to be? What's 2 to the second power? 2 times 2 is what? 4. Y to the what? Okay, try this one. What's 4 to the third power? What's 4 times 4? 16. What's 16 times 4? 64. X to the what? Come on, guys. X times what? 3 times 3. X to the ninth. Okay, you guys are thinking too hard. Okay, does that make sense? How we got that? Okay, I'm gonna erase this stuff and we'll try another one. What?
On 7x.
Uh-huh.
Second.
Uh-huh.
Wouldn't it be 7 times 49?
No. 7 to the second. That means 7 times 7 is 49. Guys, you need to understand something. This, you got to take care of the coefficient first, because this coefficient you would not multiply first times the exponent, if you, or the variable, if you knew what the variable was. Does that make sense? So this power right here is only connected to this variable. Okay, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if you guys are sleepy or what, but let's try another one. Try this one. 6m to the fourth to the second power. You guys should be able to do this quick. How many do you have an answer? Macy? Okay, Macy, what'd you get?
6. Wait, no. 12 and 3.
6 times 6 is 12? What is that? You were right other than that. What's 6 to the second power? 36. Now tell me m to the what? Now, how many of you guys got that? Okay, let's try another one. Write that answer. Asia, will you close the door, please? Anybody? Sarah has an answer. James has an answer. Sam has an answer. Sam, what'd you get?
I got 25 y to the 64th power.
To the What's 8 times 2? Rhymes with schmixteen. Okay, how many of you got that for your answer? Okay, you're starting to get this, right? Okay, try this one. Tell me what you get. We haven't even gotten to the hard part yet. I'm serious. Okay, somebody tell me what you got. Hannah, what'd you get?
9 and 21.
Close. Noah, what'd you get? No. Jackson?
27 and then was it 20?
Okay, why is it 27? Because 3 to the third power is what? Bless you. 3 times 3? 9 times 3? 27. Now, n to the what, Jackson?
And to 21.
21th. Good. Do you see why that's 27n to the 21th? Okay. What about this one? Try this one. Geez, I already have that. Never mind. Anyone? Anyone? Sarah has an answer. Jordan has an answer. Forrest, help me out. What do I have?
64 into the 10th.
Oh, I thought you were going to say 16. God bless you. 64 n to the 10th. How many of you understand? Now, are you starting to understand this part? Are you sure? Did everybody get 64 n to the 10th? It's imperative that you tell me if you didn't. Yes? Okay. Huh?
I didn't. I don't really understand.
Okay, what does this mean? This means if I was to break this up, this means 8 to the second. That takes care of that. And then n to the 5th times n to the 5th, because we're taking this to the second power, which means 64. You add those n to the 10th. Make sense? Okay. Okay, can I move to the next part?
Yeah.
Okay. So what do you think? I'm just going to throw one out there, see how you do. Okay, what do you think it would be if I had this? Xy to the second times 3 xy to the third times 4x. Okay? This looks crazy, doesn't it? Okay? To me, this is actually easier than what we just did. Okay? So let's take a look. Okay? Any variables I see that don't have a power, what is the power that is actually there? What is this one? 1. What is this one? 1. What is this one? 1. Okay. Do I have any coefficients there? There's no coefficient here. Do I have a coefficient here? Okay. Do I have a coefficient here? Can you multiply 3 times 4? What do you get when you multiply 3 times 4? 12. Okay. Now I'm going to cross these out because we dealt with this and we dealt with this. Okay, I have x to the first times x to the first times x to the first. What do I do if I multiply x to the first times x to the first times x to the first? What am I going to do with those exponents? The bases are the same. What am I going to do? Levi? Add them. So what would that be? X to the third. Okay, I dealt with this, I dealt with this, and I dealt with this. What's left? What's left? Look up here. What's left? Y to the second times y to the third. What, do I have the same base? Yes. What am I going to do with the exponents? Well, y to the second times y to the third is going to give me what? Y to the... No. Guys, I add the exponents if I'm multiplying. What is that going to give me? Y to the what? 5th. Now it's simplified. 12x to the third times y to the 5th. Make sense? Looks crazy. Looks intense, but it's really not, is it? Okay. Hang on, Jackson. I'm going to try a couple more. Let's see if you do right. Okay. Try this one. Let's do an easy one. 7x to the second times 2x. What do I take care of first, guys? Coefficients. I have this one. I have this one. What do I do? Multiply them. Bam. Okay. Now, I cross them off as I go. You don't have to do that if you don't want to. What's left? X to the second times x to the... What am I going to get if I do x to the second times x to the first? X to the third. Good. That's simplified, isn't it? That's all I got to do. Okay? Is it starting to make sense, peeps? Okay, try this one. 5y to the third times 6y to the third times y to the third. You should be able to do this like that. Look at it. What are my coefficients? This is algebra, by the way. Okay? Levi has an answer. Olivia has an answer. Kemper has an answer. Sarah has an answer. Sam has an answer. Smear, do you have an answer yet? Let's multiply my coefficients, Smear. What are the only coefficients I have? And what is 5 times 6? 30. Okay, did you deal with this and this? Okay, now I have y to the third times y to the third times y to the third. Those are the same base, right? What do I do with those exponents? What's that going to be? 30y to the 9th. Okay? This is easy now, isn't it? Now that you have the hang of it, it's pretty simple. Okay? Yes. Because y to the third times y to the third times y to the third. The bases are the same. I do 3 plus 3 plus 3. Okay? All right. Try this one. All right. 3 a to the second b to the fourth times 7 a to the second b to the fourth times 2 a b c. Looks crazy. It's not that difficult. Somebody tell me the first thing I should take care of. Olivia? Coefficients. And what do I get if I multiply those coefficients? 3 times 7 is what? 21 times 2? 42. Did I deal with those? Did I deal with those? What's next? What variable should I do first? Sam? By the way, when you multiply variables like this, go in alphabetical order. What's the first one I see up there? A to the times a to the second is what? Times a to the first would give me what? A to the fifth. Done, done, done. B to the fourth times what? B to the fourth is what? B to the eighth times B to the what? Would give me what? B to the ninth. I have nothing to multiply C times, so what do? Just bring it down. Is this simplified? Okay? Look how crazy that looks. It looks super intense. But it is really easy, isn't it? Does that make sense? Yeah? Okay. Would you like your worksheet?
Yes.
Okay. Only if you do this one right. Ready? 6 x to the second, y to the fifth, times 5 x to the ninth, y to the third, times x. Try that one. Okay, somebody help me. Somebody I haven't talked to today. Somebody who hasn't helped me yet. Kemper, have you helped me yet? Kemper, what do I do first?
When you multiply 6 times 12.
Those, what are those things called? Rhymes with snowy efficients? Coefficients. And what is 6 times 5? 30. Okay. Dealt with that, dealt with that. What's next?
Put a variable on the x.
So x,
Times
x to the second times x to the ninth, which is what? Bless you. X to the what?
x to the second.
Times x to the ninth is what?
11.
Okay, and times another x to the
First.
first would give me what? X to the
X is 12.
12th. Good. Dealt with this. Dealt with this. Dealt with that. What's left?
1 to 5.
Y 5 plus 3 would give me what?
8.
8. How many of you got that right? Okay, so we're good on this. All right. Excellent.